Okay, how about now, guys? Can you see me live now? How about now? I am live. Friends, how about now? No? Okay. Alright, guys. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Alright, fine. What about visibility clear? Correct? Visibility clear. Okay, let's continue ahead then. Fine. A very good evening to everyone. Myself Shabnam. A warm welcome to you at day 19 of our full stack web development series. I can see. Okay, guys, without wasting any more minute of ours, let's quickly have a recap of what we have learned in the class last time. We started with the concept of loops in JavaScript. I had also mentioned to you that there are 4 different types of loop at least that JavaScript support. Though we have learned only one loop, and that was the for loop. A good time of the lecture yesterday we spent in understanding the 3 different parts of the for loop, syntax of the for loop, and the basic program to start the for loop by. Correct? Okay. The programs were simply printing numbers from 1 to 10 or maybe 10 to 1. That's in reverse order in order to understand how decrementation works. We have also seen how to accept a number from the user and print its multiplication table again using loop. Is it right? Quickly to revise the 3 parts of for loop, that in JavaScript a for loop is composed of the 3 parts. First one, you have to define. You want to start the counter from where? Is it okay? Starting the counter, that means initialization. The counter should start from which value counting. Then second part, better known as condition. In short, to say where to stop the counter. And the third part is where we set the step size. That is either incrementation or decrementation. Is that okay? Fine. Alright. Let's quickly go to Visual Studio Code and have our hard code programming back to back. Okay, fine. So this is my agenda of the day today. As I had already mentioned to you yesterday, these are certain things that we are going to do. Yesterday I told you take a question as a self-practice. You have to accept a number and a power from the user. And using for loop, you have to return the power of that number. Is that okay? For example, if the user enters the number as 6 and another number is 2, that means as base 6 and power 2, you have to return 6 into 6, that is 36. Alright, I don't know how many of you could do it or couldn't do it. If time permit, at the end of the class today, we will only do it. Okay, but I would still aim to write a little high-end program today that involves a little more logic. Is it okay? So here we go. This is the first program that we start with today, called as Fibonacci series. Alright, so first let me introduce to you what is a Fibonacci series. For those of my friends who are coming here from ITCS background, they must be well aware. In case if you are not, so look on my screen, how am I writing? Fine. This is my Fibonacci. One moment. Just a moment, I think. Okay, I'm back here. Okay, remember always Fibonacci series is a series of progression. It's a progression series and it always starts with 0. Okay, number 2, the next number that comes in the series is 1. So keep in mind, these two are the fixed numbers. Okay, to start the Fibonacci series, these two are the fixed number of the series, 0 and 1. The number hence on will be formed by adding the immediate previous 2 numbers. Okay, what do you mean by immediate previous 2 number? Like 0 and 1 are the 2 numbers. 0 plus 1 will give me 1. So keep adding the 2 immediate previous. जो लगकर पीछे है. Okay, so the next number to come in the series will be immediate to previous, that is 1 plus 1, which will give me 2. Next number to come in the series will be immediate to previous, that is 1 plus 2, which will give me 3. Similarly, the next number to come in the series will be immediate to previous, that is 2 plus 3, that is 5. So if I could be little faster, 5 plus 3, that's 8. 8 plus 5, that means 13. People, this is 13. 13 plus 8, if I'm not wrong, that is 21. 21 plus 13, people. I hope you got my point. This will be the immediate to previous to fill up this blank. Am I right? To fill up this blank or to fill up this place, this will be immediate to previous. Correct? So 13 and 21 will make the sum of 34, and this will continue. So on, going on. Alright, so this is how the Fibonacci series is formed. Remember, to start the series, these two are always the fixed numbers. Okay, the number after the two numbers in the series is generated by adding the previous two number, or let me say immediate previous two number. Okay, so this is how the Fibonacci is constructed. Never mind, I did nothing but just switch to Visual Studio Code. Quickly, let me create two programs, say day 19, PR1, program1.html, and day 19, program2.javascript. Okay, in my HTML, I write the minimum tags which is required to code an HTML page using HTML. I just changed title. If you want, you can even ignore that. Set title to some day 19, and let me import that JavaScript file which I just created, and it is a blank file as well. All your eyes and focus on the screen, people. It is possible I might go wrong unintentionally. You have to correct me in that case. But कभी हमसे कोई गलती होता है तो आपको correct करना है, writing the comment in the chat section. Come on. Script is a tag to include external JavaScript file in an HTML program. For those of my friends who are attending class for the first time today. So source of this file, let me write name, that is day 19 program2.js, and the script ends. Alright, come on, if I could run this page, there is no output as of now. There is no output. Okay, fine. So the page opens blank, or the browser opens with a blank screen. Never mind. Come here to JavaScript, and let's code a function, people. Okay, let me call the name of this function as Fibonacci, or only Fibo. Alright, or only Fibo. Now this function, when you call this function, this is going to print the Fibonacci series. Okay, this will require a hardcore looping. Okay, this will require a hardcore looping. Hoping you are understanding. Clear? So now what do? I assume that we want to generate the 10 terms in the series. Let me put this point as a comment. So let's assume we want to print the first 10 terms. Terms means they are the numbers here. Say we want to print the first 10 terms of the series. Okay, so let me assign the number n as 10, or the variable n as 10. Is it clear? Come on. I want to take help of another 3 variables, that is a, b and c. Okay. Why a, b, c? Let me come back to my Word file. As I told you people. Okay, as I told you, these two are the fixed numbers, 0 and 1. So we will assign a as 0, b as 1, and in c, initially we'll keep c 0, and ideally after that we will keep adding inside c a plus b. Why? Because c is the next number. Am I right? C is going to be the next number. This is the central logic of Fibonacci. Come on, C is the next number which will be generated after adding previous two numbers stored inside A and B, correct? So if A is 0, B is 1, C will be 0 plus 1, that is nothing but 1. तो ये काम एक पहला iteration में होगा. This will happen in the first iteration. In the next iteration, we have to swap ABC. Is it right? We have to swap ABC. I'm connecting my Wacom tablet again. People, it's possible that I might lose connection for a moment. So cope up and stay connected, please. See, like this. I repeat my point again in case if we were not audible to you. Okay. Right. So this is going to be the case of the first iteration. A is going to be 0, B is going to be 1, and C will produce 0 plus 1, that is 1. Correct me in case if you're not understanding. Okay. In the second iteration, what we will do? People, in the second iteration, what we will do? Check. Right. Now, what is the value of C? C is 1. But now if you could see, to generate this sum, am I right? To generate this 2 here, look at my cursor where I placed. To generate 2, we have to actually change A and B because the immediate previous 2 have been swapped or have been changed now, correct? The one who was 0 was A and the one who was B was 1 or 1 was B, correct? So now let me make old C as B and the old B as A. Am I right? So for the next iteration, the one who was B will become A and the one who was C will become B. Right? So in each iteration, you just have to keep swapping your A and B. Am I right? I repeat the point again. In each iteration or in each loop, you just have to keep swapping your A and B with B and C. Let's see if you have not understood. Okay, clear. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. So A is equals to 0, B is equals to 1, and let me use this dummy variable C whom I initially set to 0 only. Okay, fine. Let's print A and B at least. So let me write document.write A. Okay, and B, you want, you can give a break between 2. Alright. Okay, so let me give a break between the 2. Yeah, Naveen, you can use let keyword as well. Okay, I have no intention behind not using let. Okay, behind not using let, I have no intention in it. I hope you understand. Is it okay? Because I don't want to use C anywhere outside, so I'm not interested in defining the scope of the C. Is that clear? I repeat the point again, since I'm not interested in using C outside. So we are not bothered in the scope of the C. So when you're not bothered about the scope of the variable, we ideally ignore using let or where. Is it clear? Okay. So A as well as B. Okay. Okay. Fine. This is how the function is working. Let's print the program till here and check the output. Let me call this function fibo. I save this. Come back to our page. Okay, so 0, 1, at least the 2 terms are getting printed to start the series, correct? Now let's print the next one, which is going to be the addition of 0 and 1. So for this, I will run the loop. Let me start my loop from 1. And since you want to print 10 terms in the series, hello girls and boys, we want to print total 10 terms in the series. Now, there is one contrast here, but there's something twisting. Okay, you cannot expect me to write I less than or equal to 10. Since you want to print 10 terms, so we will run the loop 10 times. If I wanted to print 20 terms of the series, you expect me to run the loop 20 times. Or if you wanted to print 100 terms in this series, you will expect me to run the loop 100 times. Actually, we will run the loop 2 minus. That means 2 less time. Why? Because 0 and 1 we have already printed on the screen. Am I right? Or on the page. So if 10 terms are to be printed, we will execute for to run only 8 times. Am I right? Because the 2 terms we have already printed outside the loop. I hope you understand. No, not I less than n, my friend, not I less than n. Acha, instead of 10, if you ask me to write n, तो बात तो वही हो गई. That's what I'm arguing here with you. See, the 2 terms are already printed up. That is A and B. So if you want to display 10 terms of Fibonacci, out of 10, 2 terms we have already displayed, correct? Now how many left to display more? That is 8. So hence, starting from 1, we will run this loop till n minus 2. Is that clear? And if you want to write here n, so make sure that you're starting this loop from 2 or 3, whatever is applicable. You got my point? Yep. No, but why n dot length also? Krutik, I can't write n dot length. N is not an array or a string to write the length. Okay, this answer or response is to Krutik Kumar. Krutik, don't. N dot length. Length is a function provided your variable is an array or it's a string. Clear? Fine. Last time to be spoken, since we have already printed 2 terms, that is A, B, 0, 1. So out of 10, how many more left to be printed? 8. That's the reason we subtract 2 from n. That is n minus 2. Am I right? So if n is 10, n minus 2, that means 8. Total 8 times the loop will run starting from 1. Is it okay? If someone is still confused, I am ready to repeat the logic again. I'm going ahead from here. Ping me in the chat section in case if you want this logic to be repeated. I++. Okay. Now what this for loop is going to do inside, try to understand. Firstly, calculate what is C. Since I told you every next number is a sum of the immediate previous 2 number, correct? So C is a sum of A and B. Print C. Hence I write document.write C. Okay. Give a break. That sounds good or looks good. Okay. Even here I am giving break. Okay. I'm giving break here. Alright. Now believe me, if the for loop has to do only these 2 instruction or only these 2 lines of code, for loop has to execute, it was very simple. But what will happen, what will happen? All the 8 times C will be 0 plus 1, that is 1 only, am I right? Now after printing C, guys, after printing C, we have to change the values of A and B. Because the one who is C now will act as B. And the one who is B now will act as A to generate the next number in the series, correct? Fine. I come back to my document again. Check it out once again, please. Okay, check one small thing. Okay, so say for example, okay, this is 0, this is 1, correct? So actually 0 you initialized as A, 1 you initialized as B, and 0 plus 1, that is 1, you have initialized as C. Correct? Now to fill up this blank, guys, this iteration has to change or it has to swap. B will now become A, C will now become B, and A plus B will generate next C, that is 1 plus 1, nothing but 2. Am I right? Now to calculate the value of the next C, इसके बाद अगला number क्या होगा? I hope you got my point. अगला number क्या होगा, people? So to calculate that, inside the loop, we will have to change A and B. Am I right? This is the new C. So now again B will become A, C will become B. Am I right? And you will get the new C. That is nothing but, what do you mean by A and B now? A is 1, B is 2, 1 plus 2, that means 3. So the new C will have value as 3, correct? Come on, who will be the next number? That means who will be the next C, correct? So again you will have to swap B to A, C to B, only then you will get a different value and the sum as new C, correct? So this is A, this is B. What is the value of A? Current value A is now 2, B is now 3, 2 plus 3, so the new C will keep 5, and this is how it goes on. Is that okay? All of us, everybody. So this is how exactly for loop has to keep working. Keep swapping A, B with B, C. I repeat, keep swapping A, B with B, C in each loop. This will happen in loop number 1. Come on, this is going to happen in loop number 1. This will happen in loop number 2. This will happen in loop number 3. This will happen in loop number 4. Like this way, how many such loops you are going to make? Say the last instruction will happen in loop number 8. Correct? So come back here inside your for loop. Only 2 lines of code more to be written. So A is now B. That means B, the value of B will be assigned to A. Okay, Bharat, I'll repeat it. Bharat, I'll repeat it. Okay, and the value of C will be assigned to B. Alright, fine. Okay, guys, we are spending just 2 more minutes for the friends who have not understood. Only 2 more minutes. Fine, so please cooperate with us. Come on, tell me. What is this Fibonacci series? The series of progression, how does it look? It starts from 2 fixed number, that is 0 and 1. Correct? Next number is the sum of the immediate previous 2 number. Correct? So what is 0 plus 1? That's 1. Who are the immediate previous 2 now? 1 plus 1, that's 2. Immediate 2 previous, 2 plus 1, that's 3. Similarly 5, 8, 13, 21. Am I right? 1 minute please. 21. Okay. Then comes 34. If I'm not wrong, yes, 34. Correct? If I could go ahead yet, 8 plus 13, 21. Correct. 4 plus 1, 5. 3 plus 2, 5. So this will be 55 and so on. This is how the Fibonacci is getting generated. Okay. Now, what are we doing? We have assigned A as 0. This is how our code worked. Correct? A was 0 and B is equals to 1. Now, C is going to be the sum of A plus B. But every time A and B will not be 0, 1, na? Correct? If every time A, B will be 0, 1, so every time C will give the output as 1 only. And the series generated will be like this, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Correct or not? So in each loop, we have to swap A and B. Correct? In each loop, we have to swap A and B. So this is loop number 1. Okay, bear with me please. This is my loop number 1. What's happening in loop number 1? Okay, what's happening in loop number 1? Give me a moment of time here. Okay, good. This is my loop number 1. Okay, so 0 is A, B is 1, and A plus B, boys and girls, A plus B is going to generate C, which is again 1. Am I right? So when I write A here, you correspond it with this value in the series. Got it? So this is the story of the first iteration. Now the next C to be calculated is this number, right or not? The one whom I am marked as red, please. Jisko red color kiya hai. That's a question mark now. Right? Now what we have to do is, people, this is the next iteration ABC. Correct? So what will happen? We have to swap B as A. The one who was old B will now be the new A. And the one who was old C will now be the new B. That means A is 1, or A should become 1. B should become 2. Is it right? So how will it become 2, guys? How will it become 2? You have to assign A the value of B and you have to assign B for the next loop value of C. Is that okay now somewhat? Correct. So now who is A? A is corresponding to 1. B, after swapping its value with C, that is, it becomes 2. So A plus B, that is 1 plus 2, is going to generate a new C, that is 3. I hope you got my point. Is that okay? So that's going to generate 3. Or I think 1 plus 1 will generate 2. Whatever, if I have missed that one loop. Is it okay? That means A is 1, B is 1, not 2 people. A is 1 and B is also 1 after swapping. C becomes 1 plus 1, that's 2. Ma'am now understood. Okay, what about Bharat? Is it clear? Bharat, is it clear? Okay, fine. Respond to me in the chat section. If still not, we'll go ahead then. Okay, so A equals B, B equals C, and let's see what's the output now. Rakesh. Okay, thank you. Fine. Okay, if I could come back here. Alright, so 0, 1, 1, and I think 34. You have to cross check it whether these are total 10 terms or not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Thank you. Nicely. Is that okay? So what if I wanted to print 20 numbers of this series? Oh, never mind. You just have to change the number here. That is 20. Am I right? This logic is going to remain the same. First two numbers are constant, that is 0 and 1. Rest numbers will be the sum of A and B. But after printing C, you have to swap AB with BC. Correct or not? After printing C, we have to swap AB with BC. Is that clear? Fine. So if I could save this and run back here. Okay, so this is how it is generating. Suppose you don't want to print them all in different lines. You want to print them all in just one line, people. Right? So what you have to do is remove these breaks. And instead of break, write ampersand NBSP semicolon. Okay, I keep this copied. NBSP semicolon. Mind you, this is not a tag. This is HTML syntax to print a space. Okay, so if I could save this and show you, you look 0 and 1 has a space in between. Okay, not a break but a space in between. NBSP, ampersand NBSP semicolon, that is to print a space. Is that okay? Fine. Okay, the rest choice I leave it up to you. You want to print a space everywhere. Experiment and check. Alright, now what you will be doing, back home, how you are going to practice this Fibonacci. First, print Fibonacci series. Alright, your self-assignment question, people. Okay, first of all, take an input from the user. Okay, accept the number of terms to be printed. In Fibonacci from the user in the text box and print the series. Okay, like 10 and 20, I kept them both hard coded. You don't write 10, 20 just. You let user enter how many terms he want to display in the series. Clear? How many terms he wants to display, you let user enter it. Number 1. Number 2, display the second and third even number in the series. Okay, let's see whether you are able to do it or not. That means display the second and the third even number of the Fibonacci series. Tell me how it is or what they will be. Right, so this is a Fibonacci series. 0, no, 0 is neither even nor odd. 1, this is odd. Again 1, this is odd. So 2, this is the first even number of the series, correct? But they have not asked the first even number. They have asked in the question second and the third even number, right? Okay, so is the second even number, that is 8. So 8 should be printed. And the third even number in the series is 34. So these two numbers in the series should be printed. Okay, you try to do it. If you can't, then I will do it on Monday. Is it okay? All of us. So display second and the third even number from the Fibonacci series. Do not print the entire series. Alright, if this is understood, let's go ahead and write another program to find out whether the number is a prime number or not a prime number. Okay, if any doubt by you, please put it up in the chat section. In fact, we are waiting for that. Okay, I repeat the question again. You have to find out whether entered number by the user is a prime number or it's not a prime number. It's a very interesting logic-based program. But firstly, let us understand what is the concept of prime number in mathematics. I hope many of you must be aware a number which is divisible only by itself is a prime number. Let's take an example of 7. People, 7. So 7 is divisible only by 7. Am I right? 7 divided by... I'm actually writing remainder here. I'm actually writing remainder. When you divide 7 by 7, you will get 0. Right? But 7 is not divisible by 2, 7 is not divisible by 3, or 7 is not divisible by 4. Yes, I will send the assignment in the group. Is it okay? Yes, we will not use nested if. Bharat, we will use if inside the for loop. Okay, so that's not called as nested if. If inside if is a nested if. Okay, for loop will have an if statement inside. So that means for loop is not nesting it. Hoping you're getting that point. Right, anyway, so a number which is divisible only by itself, that's a prime number. Another example of a prime number, that is 17. Another example, that is 13. Another example, that is 23. And this way you go ahead. Okay, fine. Acha. Alright. Okay. Next few things to discuss with you before we could start the program of logic-based program of prime number. Firstly, how to use a while loop. That is the second type of loop in JavaScript. And what is the use of break keyword in JavaScript? Okay, what is the second type of loop that is used by JavaScript called as a while loop, and what is a break keyword? Okay, so come here, back to Visual Studio Code. Let me comment the calling of this function fibo, and we create another simple function called as function1, which accepts no argument but wants to display number 1 to 10 in a serial order. Exactly the way we did yesterday using for loop, display 1 to 10. Let's see how to display the same numbers 1 to 10 but not using for, this time using while loop. First of all, this is the syntax of while loop. We just write while and inside the round bracket we write the condition, and this will be the while loop block. Simple. Like for, while loop is not made up of 3 parts. It is made up of only one part, that is condition, which was the second part of the for loop. You got it? Where to stop. So while loop, when you declare or when you code, it asks you for only one question, where to stop the counter. So where to start from, you have to always declare it before the loop starts. Okay, while doesn't have any special part to write where to start the counter from. So you make sure whenever you code a while loop, the value to the counter variable you have declared outside, that means before the loop starts. Yeah, what is the difference between for and while? We will be discussing them shortly in the class today itself. But first, let us understand the syntax of while. Okay, so let's say while I is less than or equal to 10. Of course, this is going to give you an error, that is unknown variable I. Okay, and inside the while loop, we don't have any place to declare what is the starting value of I. That's the reason whenever you use a while loop, make sure that you initialize starting value to the counter variable before the loop starts. Okay, while using while loop, make sure you initialize the starting value to the counter variables before the loop starts. So let me say I starts from 1. Okay, now because I is 1 and 1 is less than 10, the condition is true. I'll go inside the loop and let me say document.write 1. That is I. Okay, that is I. Okay, so this is a very simple program that makes use of a while loop. If any doubt in your mind, please keep it to yourself. I'll come to it very shortly. Let me save this. I think I need to call the function also. So let me say function 1. Above is a function definition. This one is a function call. Alright. So let's see how it works. Save this. Come back here. There is some problem. Am I right? There is some problem. If you could try to do right click inspect or Control Shift J so that it can open your console box. Okay, the program is not responding. Let me say exit. Okay, fine. We don't have that much of time here. Okay, so let's come here. Let me tell you what exactly we have gone wrong at. Okay, see, I is 1. 1 is less than 10. But this is actually going to take me into infinite loop, people. I will always be 1, correct or not? Am I right? You have to increment I so that sometime this condition becomes true and we exit from this loop, right or not? Like how did for ask you in the third part? What was the question of a for loop in the third part? Set the step size. Am I right? Set the step size. We have outside the bracket. No. That's correct. Navin, what you're saying, there is nothing wrong in it. Am I right? The only problem here is we have not incremented this counter. So let me say I++. Okay, I actually wanted to show you the problem there on the screen. Whether it is printing 1111 in an infinite way or not. Okay, but due to some technical reason, the execution is taking time. I reveal the solution. Yes, incremented. Correct. I is equals to I plus 1 or unary operator as supported by JavaScript, that is plus plus. Is it okay? So let me save this. Okay, if it is not already running, let me run again from here. Day 19 program 1.html. Open with live server. Okay, so this is 1 to 10 printed again. Is that okay? This is 1 to 10 printed again. And suppose I want to show even numbers between 1 to 10. Even numbers. So let me start my counter from 2 till 10. Condition writes till 10. And let me give it a step size of always plus 2. Is that okay? So I save this, I come back here, so it gives me the output as 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. People, so points to be taken from this conclusion or from this explanation, points to be noted are, first of all, syntax of while loop. While loop, inside its round braces asks you to write only the condition. So whenever we make use of while loop, first of all, make sure that initialization has already happened before the loop starts. And the step size to increase or decrease the counter variable must be inside the loop. Is that okay? Or most of the time we make sure that the counter variable has increased before the loop ends or inside the loop. Clear? I would be glad if somebody acknowledge in the chat section whether you have clearly understood this part or not. The syntax of while, is it clear? What was the problem? My program was not running. Was that clear? Okay, shall be waiting for your response in the chat section. Is it okay, people? Alright, so if you want to, good, thank you. If you want to print the number in a reverse order, make sure that you write IS10 here. Till 10 is greater than 1. Till 10 is greater than 1. What to do this time? I want to decrement the counter, right? Let's see, it prints the, okay, so it has printed cool numbers from 10 to 1. Is that clear? Now suppose, you know what, I want to like come out of the loop if the number is 5 or when I have reached 5. You got my point? So I want to print 10, I want to print 9, I want to print 8, I want to print 7, 6, everything. But from the number 5 or 5 onwards, I want to come out of the loop. The reason why I would like to come out of the loop could be many. That could be many people. As of now, we are interested to learn like how to break and come out if certain condition meet. Alright, good. If certain condition meets, how to break and come out. Okay, so let me first print I. Before that, let me initialize I as 1. Till the time 1 is less than or it is equal to 10. Okay, now instead of printing that value of I, let me first check if I is equal to say 5. Okay, if I is equal to 5, I use the keyword break here. People, break is a keyword in JavaScript which gives an emergency exit from the loop. I hope you got my point. I speak the point one more time. Break is a keyword used by JavaScript who provides an emergency exit from the loop. Break is like, you know, it raises an emergency or an alarm signal that without completing the rest part, which is remaining part of the loop, break and come out. Now the reason why we would like to give a break could be many, as I said. Say my condition has been fulfilled and I am no longer interested in running the rest of the iteration. Okay, say I have an Excel file inside which there are 100 rows containing records of 100 students. I just want to find out the student name Raj has attended the class today or not. वो बच्चा जिसका नाम राज है या राहुल है, इसने क्लास अटेंड किया था कि नहीं? Now suppose I check row number 1, I check row number 2, I check row number 3. This way when I reach row number 26, I could find the name of Raj. But if the record of Raj was located, if it was found out, then it makes no sense to search in row number 27, 28, 29 till 100, correct? The remaining 74, 73 loops, whatever that is. Why to unnecessarily loop and check name matches to Raj or not, name matches with Raj or not, correct? Fine. So if a certain criteria meets or if a condition is fulfilled, it makes sense that you break the loop and come out as an emergency exit. Alright, I would be glad if somebody acknowledges in the chat section the concept of break understood or not. Yes, remaining part will not be printed, correct. Okay, one fine day, mostly on Monday only, we are going to study the concept of continue, that is opposite of break. But let me not confuse you with continue right now. Let us be happy and satisfied only with break. Okay, so now tell me how this loop will run. Come on, how the loop will execute. I is right now 1 till I is less than 10. We are printing I, but before printing I, we are checking the condition. Is I equal to 5? Once it becomes 5, means we are no longer interested in running the remaining loops. We would like to give a break and come out. Alright, so before I could run this program, can you tell me what will be the output of this code? Come on, would be glad if you could write in the chat section. That means you have really understood. What will be the output of this code? No, let me not run directly. Let me see if you can tell me the output of this program. Yes, 1 will be printed, 2 will be printed, 3 will be printed, 4 will be printed because 4 is not equal to 5. But when I becomes 5, the condition inside the if statement fulfill. Exactly. And we will give a break and come out. Last print will be 4. So let me save this. Let me come here. Okay, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that okay? All of us understood, right? Now with this two logic being understood, that means the concept of while loop as well as the break keyword. Let's see how to build a logic to find out the number is prime or not. Okay, I'm going to write the program to find out number is prime or not using while. But that's not a compulsion. You want, you can write it even using for. Okay, all of us. Anyways, you did not ask me as a doubt. If everything that for can do, even while can also do. So what is the difference between two? When to use for, when to use while. Why JavaScript works with these two different types of loops, correct? भाई सब कुछ जो for करता है अगर while भी कर सकता है तो ये दो अलग अलग तरह की loops क्यों है? Am I right? Now try to understand. I can even write like this, while true. Okay, that means what? I don't know when to stop. You understood? That means I want this program to keep running infinitely. I don't want when to stop. When to stop, the end user will answer. You understood? The end user will answer when to stop. So when we don't know how many iterations a particular loop has to take, we ideally prefer the use of while. Is that clear? Okay, we already know that iteration in for while. Yeah, exactly. We know already, as Rakesh has explained to us in the chat section, that in for we are always knowing how many iterations the loop is going to take. But in while loops are mostly used under those circumstances where a number of iterations are not known. Is that clear? Where the number of iterations are not known. Fine. चलिए, coming ahead from here, going आगे, इससे आगे बढ़ते हुए, let me comment this part. I'm not interested in that piece of code right now. Now let's see how to build the logic to find out the number is prime or not. Okay, so this will be mostly the last code which I'm writing today. Say function prime. Okay, alright, one more thing that I forgot to tell you. One more thing, people. See, if I write like this, okay, let me get rid of it. Okay, this is another new thing that we are learning now. Suppose if I write like this, document.write 10 divided by 4. Okay, now I know very well 10 divided by 4 is 2.5, correct? Be little fast. So I save this. It gives me answer 2.5. Everybody? Okay, 2.5. And suppose if I write like this, instead of 10, I write 15, or let me say, okay, 15. 15 divided by 4. So it gives me answer as 3.75. That means the answer is a floating point number, correct? But every time this answer will not be appreciated. For example, the first day when I introduce if statement, conditional statement to you, I ask you to write one program on that means some money which was to be denominized, correct? Say I have 5,000 rupees and I want to know how many 2,000 rupees note I can give or how many 500 rupees notes I can give. But if I get answer something like this 3.75, of course I cannot pay 3.5 note to someone, right or not? Yep, demonetization, correct. But I cannot pay, the 3.5. Like आप किसी को 2.5 नोट, 3.25 नोट, 2.25 नोट, ऐसी नोट नहीं दे सकते हो. So the number should be either 3 or 4. That means the whole number to pay the money for, correct? Or to give the number of notes for. Correct? So in that case, we make use of the function called as math.floor. Okay. Now before I use again math.floor, also try to understand whom does JavaScript call these two values, that is a floor value and a ceiling value. Ceiling, people. Okay, these are the two different values used by JavaScript. One called as floor, another called as a ceiling value. Okay, now suppose I have a number called as here 8.3. Okay, the nearest whole number on the left side of the scale is 8. And the nearest whole number on the right side of a number scale is going to be 9. Is that okay? There are so many, theoretical definitions of floor and theoretical mathematical definitions of ceiling. But I want people to understand forever, floor and ceiling my way. आप हमेशा floor ceiling को इस तरह याद रखना. Every floating point number exactly will have two ends, one left end, one right end. The nearest whole number on the left end, that will be the floor, and the nearest whole number on the right end, that will be the ceiling. People, the way you call this is floor, and what you see up is the ceiling. Alright, why do we say nearest and the left end? Because the whole numbers are 7 also, whole number is 6 also, whole number is 5 also, but the nearest to 8.3 is 8 on the left side, correct? And on the right side, near the whole numbers are 9 also, whole number is 10 also, whole number is 11 also, 12 also. But the nearest whole number on the right side is 9. Is that okay? So if I write like this, come on, if I write like this, math.floor 8.3, the floor value is going to be 8 here. Okay, and if I write like this, math.ceil, ceil and ceiling both works, people. If ceil doesn't work for you for any reason, try ceiling. Okay, if I write like this, so 8.3, ceiling for 8.3 is going to be 9. Doesn't matter whoever is the floating point number. Even if the number is 8.99999999, people, 99. Even if this is the number, people, the floor is still 8 and the ceil value is still 9. I have intentionally given you this example so that you do not misinterpret ceiling and floor with round. You understood? If you use math.round, people, math.round 8.9999, it might round it to 9. But if you use math.floor, no, the floor value is still 8. I hope you got my point. Please make this concept very clear. So finding the floor value or finding the ceil value, that is the ceiling value, is not equivalent to rounding a number. Right? As Rakesh has explained us in the chat section, people, that is the nearest, lower end. That is the ceiling. I'm sorry, floor. Still buffering. Am I buffering? No, Navin, I'm not buffering. It's not buffering, correct. It's not buffering. I think you need to check the connection at your end. It's not buffering. Others, I'm not buffering, right? I'm not buffering, correct? You understood the difference between round, ceiling, floor, correct or not? Okay, so rounding, or let me say finding out ceiling and finding out the floor value is not equivalent to rounding. Is that okay? Fine. Alright, so these are the things that we have learned. People, these are the things that we have learned. Number one, we learned what syntax of while loops. While has to write just the condition. Initialization has to happen before the loop start. And the step size has to be defined inside the loop. Later on, we move to understand the concept of break keyword in JavaScript. People, break is a keyword to give an emergency exit, especially when you are not interested to execute the remaining part of the loop. Then we try to understand what is the meaning of these two math functions of JavaScript, math and floor. Floor and ceiling, I mean to say. The nearest whole number at the lower end, that's floor. Nearest whole number in the right side of the number scale, that is ceiling. I hope people are understanding. All of us still here? Guys, it's my... Okay, we are getting notification from the team that we need to stop here. I intended to write the program for prime number, but it's okay. We have otherwise also understood a lot of concept today. It's absolutely fine. Now these all programs I will be coding to you for you the day I meet you next time, that is on Monday. Make sure that you are present here and on time. So this is how we will start our session from finding out the number is prime or not. Finding out the sum of the different digits in a number. Let's take it as a homework. Let's see, before I could write this program on Monday, you people can code it on your own or not. Are you able to develop the logic on your own? With math.floor, while loops and the break keywords understood, whether you are able to write the logic on your own. Let's see that. Otherwise, on Monday, as all I'm going to code for you. Is it okay? What do you mean by sum of the digits of a number? So if the digit is, for example, 543, expected output is 5 plus 4 plus 3. That is 12. For example. Okay. Find a reverse of the number, people. Those who don't understand palindrome. If you reverse a number and the number is still the same, that means it is a palindrome. A good example of palindrome, let me give you, is 1331. So even if I reverse this number, yes, Rakesh, I'm going to do that. Okay, even yesterday's 2 programs are yet pending from our side to be sent. Yesterday's 2 program, today's 2 program, HTML and JavaScript, along with the assignment questions, I'll put them all together in the group. We prefer not to disturb you by sending a lot of messages on the group. That's the reason we wait for a particular time of the day so that all the messages could be sent together. Okay, good. Is it okay? Palindrome is clear? Palindrome, people, try to write this program as well. We have 2 days break now. Saturday, Sunday, 2 days break we are coming up with. Assume the number is 1331. So even if I reverse this number, I will still get the number back as 1331 only. So the original number is equal to the reverse of the number. That means this number is a palindrome. After you have written program for this, try to find out the number is an Armstrong number or not. Okay, a number is an Armstrong number if the sum of the cubes of all of its digit is the number itself. Okay, sum of the cube of all its digit. 1 minute. Let me give you an example of Armstrong number. Okay, let's take the number that is 153. 153. Okay, tell me what is the cube of 1? That is 1. What is the cube of 5, people? That is 5 into 5 into 5. The cube of 1, that is 1 into 1 into 1. Boys and girls, correct? I'm going correct, right? Just a moment. I request a moment from you, please. There's some issue here. Okay, good. Fine. Keep going. So sum of 1, that is the, let me see the cube of the first digit summed with the cube of the second digit. Come on, summed with the cube of the third digit. That is 3. 3 into 3 into 3. Correct? Tell me what is it? 1 cube is 1. 5's cube, if I'm not wrong, is 125. Okay. And 3 cube, 3 3 is a 9, 9 3 is a 27. So if you add these all, 125 plus 1, that is 126, 36, 46 and 53. So this sum is again going to be 153, which is the same number. Am I right? So this is 153 and this is also 153. Okay, that means the sum of the cubes of all the digit. Okay, let me write this point, please. Sum of the cubes of all the digits is the number itself, then it's an Armstrong number. But guys, I would like to tell you this logic works only for a 3-digit number. I repeat again, this logic works only for a 3-digit number. For a 4-digit number, you have to take power also as 4, not as the cube. For a 5-digit number to be an Armstrong number, you will have to take the power of each digit also as 5 and not 3. Is it clear? Right, so this is the definition of the Armstrong number. So when you're writing a program to find out number is Armstrong or not, you first have to find out the number is made up of how many digits. The answer will be raised to the power of each digit. Got it? Okay, please try. Yes, I think Raji Guru said 125. I need to check, my friend. Is that an Armstrong number or not? 1 plus 4 plus 25. That way? No. I don't think so. That's wrong. Acha, you're telling me the cube of 5. Correct. So that would be right. If you tell me 125 is an Armstrong number, that would be wrong. Okay, hope I got you right. Is it clear? Fine. So how will you be coding the program for an Armstrong number? First, calculate how many are the digits in the number. Then, if it's a 4-digit number, you will raise each digit to the power of 4. If it's a 3-digit number, you will separate the number into its respective digit and raise each digit to the power of that number. Is it okay? Try. I'm not asking you, you have to do, try. Each of this question I'm going to code on Monday at 4 p.m. our regular time. Is it okay? Fine. Then comes to code this following patterns on the screen. This will require a nested loop, people. Loop inside a loop. Okay, this will be requiring a nested loop inside loop. If you can understand these logics well, good. If you cannot, then I'll see how to do it. Okay, so all these questions you will be trying along with the 2 questions for Fibonacci which I have printed to you here. Okay, fine. This assignment questions, I'll put it in a proper file format and forward it to you on the group as soon as the lecture ends today. Is it okay? All of us? Okay, so when I meet you back on Monday, probably that will be the last session on loops. After that, we'll learn what do you mean by arrays and how to deal with array and strings in JavaScript. Once the concept of array and string is done, we'll go back to a little bit part of the CSS which is yet remaining. And also, we are well aware that we need to forward you the detailed syllabus of entire full stack, including of React, Angular, that modules which we have later on added. Okay, once it is prepared, ready, we shall be forwarding you it to the group. Is it okay? Fine. All right. Good. Okay, fine, people. If no doubts from your end, let me end the session. Happy weekend. See you back on Monday at our regular time. That's 4 p.m. Okay, goodbye.